Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Code Realize, Guardian of Rebirth. Now we are still on St. Germain's path, and we are trying to find some way to make a deal to save his life. We need to find a way to get in contact with Omnibus for that. Alright, let's see what we can do about this whole thing. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story.
First things first, I guess we'll begin tracking Omnibus's location. Right, Cardia, why don't you get some rest? I'm sure you're tired.
But...
No buts. You're going to be the one speaking with this Omnibus or whoever. All our efforts will go to waste if you fail. So just focus all your energy on thinking of ways to save St. Germain.
He's right. We'll make sure to take you as far as we can to get you there. Alright. After talking about their next moves, Lupin and the others get to work. I let out a small sigh, then look around me. I catch sight of Deli sitting in a corner of the room. What's the matter, Deli? You've been so quiet. It's just... Deli looks at me, apparently undecided about something. Then he looks up at the ceiling and says in a small voice, "You're not bad for a human. I would certainly like to help you if I could. But I'm sorry, there's something I have to do." Something you have to do? I ask him, curious, and he nods curtly. I was just speaking with Lupin and the others about this. Rumor has it that there are surviving vampires in the northern part of Britain. But I don't know if it's true. It may just be a false alarm. But if it's valid, as the descendant of the Vampire King, I must go see for myself. That is why... I smile gently as Deli trails off, having some difficulty finding the right words. I'll be fine. Thank you so much for all your help. Have a safe trip, Deli. I hope we get to meet again when it's all over. I promise I'll return. Van Helsing and I have yet to settle our own score as well. Deli looks at me, then opens his mouth several times in an attempt to say something. He then closes his eyes and speaks quietly. If you lose hope in humanity, you can come to me. I shall protect you. Aw, that's so sweet. I'm grateful for everyone's kindness. I watch from the window as they all leave our lodgings, then slowly shut my eyes. The image of St. Germain's face floats into my mind. His face when he opened up to me about his true feelings and wept. He must have always been crying like that from behind his smile. Ever since the incident that caused the Black Plague several years ago, he's been crying and yet unable to release his tears. Hold on, St. Germain, I will save you. Determined, I start thinking. What do I have that I can use as ammunition when speaking with Omnibus? For several days after that, I have to wait patiently. Lupin left first, saying that he had a lead to follow. The others leave afterwards, and soon everyone is running around, investigating Omnibus. Victor is looking for information through a connection in the Royal Society. Van Helsing is looking into traces of idea throughout London's criminal underground. Impy is my bodyguard. He's been saying that if any of the idea apostles who are after me appear, he'll capture and question them, but... luckily or unluckily, there's been no sign of the apostles so far. As all this has been taking place, I have been racking my brain, trying to think of how I can negotiate with Omnibus. I'll be up against a guardian of history who has been controlling the world from behind the scenes for thousands of years. I don't think she'll change her ways if I simply ask politely. So far, everything is in Omnibus's court. I don't have a single card to play that I could use to get her to agree with me. If only there was something that could make Omnibus flinch. If only I had something I could use against her, that I could use to possibly manipulate her. Even as my mind scrambles to find a solution, the others make no progress with their investigations over the next several days. But even if we do locate Omnibus, I don't have any means to negotiate with her, so there's nothing I could do now anyway. Even now, Saint Germain must be... I know saying these things won't improve the situation one bit. Does she still have that key? But I grow so restless that I can't think straight. Suddenly, there is a knock at the door. Yes.
It's me, Victor. Can I come in?
Hold on. Victor, you don't look so well. Are you all right?
Don't worry. I just haven't been getting much sleep.
As Victor enters the bedroom, I notice dark circles under his eyes. I can see at a glance that he's been working non-stop for the past few days. So, what is it? Did you find something while you were investigating?
Unfortunately, no, but there's something I wanted you to hear.
As he says this, he takes something familiar out of his pocket. A beautiful pendant in a glass case. Is that Finis's pendant?
Yes, I was looking into this little by little, whenever I could find the time. Basically, it seems that my theory was correct.
That this pendant and the horologium are connected.
Yes, this is unmistakably a key item that can transform the horologium into the Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Stone. I remember when I picked up this pendant in the underground facility. The sensation I felt like the horologium has been pulsating. It didn't amount to much, as Victor had intervened, but just thinking about it frightens me.
As I explained then, once the Philosopher's Stone is completed, your poison will run out of control. So, to avoid any accidents, what we really should do is dispose of this pendant.
He shakes his head as he says this, then tucks the pendant into his shirt. Right when he does this, I stop him, calling out, "Wait, Victor. If that pendant is brought close to me, my horologium will turn into a Philosopher's Stone?"
Well, theoretically.
Then, Victor, can I borrow that pendant?
Borrow? What do you want it for?
I must be able to use it in speaking with Omnibus. His face grows tense in an instant. He shakes his head with a stern look, having obviously guessed my intentions.
If you're planning to do what I think you're planning to do, there's no way I could agree to that. It's too dangerous.
But I won't be able to save Saint Germain unless I have that kind of resolve. Please, Victor, let me have the pendant. I can use this pendant and myself as my trump card in my discussion with Omnibus. The method I'm thinking of is definitely a dangerous one. One mistake could lead to a catastrophe. Victor looks down at the pendant with a bitter expression, perhaps because he knows what I'm thinking as well.
You would go that far to save the Count?
Saint Germain risked his life to save me, and he's probably risking his life at this very moment. That's why it's my turn. It's my turn to risk my life to save him. The long, drawn-out silence is a direct reflection of Victor's indecision, but eventually, he silently nods, giving in.
Fine, but can you give me some time? I'll prepare a case for you so that you can carry this around.
Thank you, that would be helpful. Just as I sigh in relief, there is a rough knock on the door. Who is it?
It's me, Lupin. I found it. Idea's headquarters.
I hadn't seen him around for the past few days. It looks like he'd gone all the way to my old home in Wales.
I figured from the way Finis was talking that Isaac must have known something about Idea. And I was right. I found this at the old mansion.
Lupin presented us with a slightly worn, leather-bound notebook. Most of the letters written in it seem to be gibberish, but the writing itself looks familiar. Is this Father's handwriting?
Meaning that these are his handwritten notes? Yup. It looks like these are his notes regarding his research into Idea. He encrypted it, and it took me a while to decode, but it says where Idea's base of operations is.
Lupin spreads out his translation of the book in front of us, and we all look at them. In Western Britain, in the depths of the forest that those on Earth refer to as the Forest of Fog.
Right, and that's where Idea's headquarters are. I'm 99% sure.
That's where Omnibus is.
Cardia, it's a good thing that we found Idea's location, but are you ready? Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately up to you whether or not your negotiation will work.
I'm not totally confident, but I have a plan for our discussion. I explain the details of the plan I came up with to them. Their reactions are the same as Victor's. The more I explain, the sterner their faces grow.
Using your own life as a bargaining chip? Are you serious? I can't support this. It's too dangerous for you.
Lupin is especially against the idea, but... Please, there's really no other way. In any case, there isn't enough time left for us to explore another option. In the end, everyone reluctantly agrees to cooperate. A few hours later, after some preparations, we all leave our lodgings, heading towards the headquarters of IDEA. Perhaps it's because we decided to board at the last minute. We have to sit apart from one another on the train on our way to our destination. Lupin is the only one seated next to me. As I let the train's motion rock me gently, I think about what's to come. I'm going to speak with Omnibus in order to preserve Saint Germain's life. I have no idea if everything will go according to my plan, but I know for certain that my life will be at risk during this negotiation. Even worse, there's no guarantee that I will be coming back to the others. Hey, Lupin. I slowly shift my gaze to Lupin, who is looking out the window. Thank you for saving me.
That was out of the blue. What's gotten into you?
I just had to tell you. If you hadn't stolen me away that day, I wouldn't be here right now.
I stole you because I wanted to. There's no need to thank me.
Lupin grimaces and shakes his head, then goes back to looking out the window. Still looking away, he speaks quietly, as if a thought had just occurred to him.
If you're lost or afraid, you don't have to do this.
What?
No one's going to blame you if you run away now. If anyone does, I'll shut them up and take you away with me.
Lupin looks straight at me. It's kind of strange. This is the only route of all the guys that Lupin seems actually kind of more interested in Cardia and a little bit jealous of the guy I've chosen. If I agree to it right now, he will probably take me somewhere far away, like he did before. But I shake my head from side to side. Thank you for looking out for me, Lupin. But it's fine. I've thought through this and made the decision on my own.
I see. So you're sure? If things go wrong, you might never be able to feel the warmth of human contact.
It's fine. Saint Germain showed me what it's like to touch another person. I look over at Lupin and smile. Saint Germain touched me. Despite my poison, he took my hand. He put my hand to his cheek and said it was warm. That's why I'm all right. I'm not afraid anymore.
I see. He beat me to it.
Lupin directs his gaze absent-mindedly at the train ceiling. I look at him again. Thank you for looking out for me, Lupin.
You've been thanking me a lot lately.
You've done so much for me, I really can't say it enough.
I see.
He falls silent and continues watching the scenery go by outside the window. I open my mouth to speak once more, but hold back the words that I want to say. At the moment, it feels like no words are necessary at all. We leave the train at the station closest to our destination, then continue on foot for a while. By the time we enter the area described as the Forest of Fog on Father's note, it is almost dusk. So this is where idea. Reddish light shines through the tree branches and leaves, somehow making everything look eerie. None of us have spoken since we entered the forest. Even Impy, who is always going on about something, has been very quiet today. Everyone is probably nervous, thinking about what's to come. I don't know how long we walk. As the forest name suggests, a dense fog begins to surround us. As the sky grows darker, the fog grows thicker. Soon, there is so much fog around us that I can't see anything.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's up with this fog?
We call out to each other as we cautiously move forward. Then, the fog suddenly clears, and the forest's atmosphere shifts dramatically. I gasp at the scene that suddenly appears before me. Did the sun completely set while we were walking through that fog? It's completely dark now. The trees stand tall, blocking any light from coming through. I'm still able to barely make out my surroundings, perhaps because some faintly luminous bubble-like things float nearby. It's like we're deep underwater. I turn around to see if anyone else agrees with me,
But they're probably not there, right?
However, Lupin and the others are nowhere to be seen. There's just an endless row of trees. The people who had been there a moment ago suddenly disappeared. And this scene in the forest has a dreamlike quality. I've felt this before. Could it be omnibus? As if in answer to my question, a glowing butterfly flutters my way. After circling me twice, the butterfly slowly flies ahead into the forest. Are you telling me to follow you? I know all too well how dangerous it can be to act on my own. But I can't see any of my friends, no matter how hard I look around me. If this is Omnibus's doing, waiting here won't do me any good. I guess I don't have a choice. I mark a spot on a tree next to me, just in case, then cautiously start walking through the forest after the butterfly. I don't know how long I've been walking, but I see a bright sunny spot up ahead. What is that? Everything around me indicates that it's nightfall, yet just that one spot is lit brightly. I look around cautiously as I follow along the butterfly guiding my path. I timidly step into the spot of sunlight. A sudden gust of wind stirs the air around me, and then everything changes. The next thing I know, I'm standing in front of a wooden house. The yard is filled with flowers. Everything looks like it's in peaceful daylight, making me almost doubt that I was ever in a forest at night. Is this Idea's headquarters? This seems far too peaceful. It doesn't seem like the place where an organization that has been controlling history would be located at all. Did I just hear a bark? Did I just hear a dog bark? Oh, I turn around and see a dog.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's far larger than Cece, almost as tall as me. You're such a big dog. Where did you come from? The dog runs up to me and lowers its head, as if trying to scare me away. It begins shoving its head against my hip, pushing at me. Huh? Whoa! The dog continues to push me towards the house, and I arrive at a terrace at one corner of the building. After nudging me to this place, where a cool breeze blows, the dog runs off looking satisfied. This is... I hear the sound of something creaking. How long has she been here? A woman is right in front of me, smiling kindly.
Welcome. Thank you for coming to such a remote place. I'm sure you're tired from walking. How about some tea?
As if she was expecting my arrival, a tea setting is laid out on a table on the veranda, giving off comforting steam. Omnibus. Though I'm momentarily frightened, I glare at her. Saint Germain's life lies in her hands, and she's the very person who wants me killed. No matter how tranquil she may be making things seem, I can't let down my guard.
Lilith, thank you for bringing her here.
She speaks to the dog from before. Lilith, the dog, barks once in response.
I have some important matters to discuss with her now. Lilith, why don't you go back inside?
Lilith hurriedly leaves us, following Omnibus's quiet instructions. As I stand there dumbfounded, Omnibus turns back to me and smiles.
Oh, I didn't think you'd be visiting me here. You have some capable friends.
Thanks. Where are they anyway? I'm assuming it's your doing that I've been separated from the rest of them.
Oh, you're right. I'm going to have them wander the forest for a little while longer. I've invited you and only you, no one else.
Finding out that the others are all right causes me to discreetly sigh in relief. But there's no time for me to play along with her. Even as we speak, Saint Germain is growing closer and closer to death. There is one thing I'd like to ask. What's happening to Saint Germain right now?
Saint Germain.
She swirls the tea in her cup, then looks down at the amber liquid.
He has been defeating all the apostles that I sent his way. And now he is fighting Guinevere.
Guinevere?
Yes, I don't know how many days they've been at it. A battle between immortals can take a while, but this is especially long. I suppose it goes to show that their skills truly rival one another's.
I know firsthand how terrifying Guinevere is. Saint Germain has been fighting such a terrible enemy for days on end. Just imagining what must be transpiring makes my chest ache.
Don't worry, their fight will be over soon. Saint Germain's immortality has been reduced to a remnant of what he had before. If he continues to die at this rate, his life force will eventually expire.
Then there's no time. I'm going to cut to the chase. I grip my fist tightly. I look straight into Omnibus's eyes, which have a strange glow about them. Omnibus, please, help Saint Germain. I'd like you to give back the immortality that you took from him.
Ah, wouldn't that be nice?
She takes a sip from her tea with a troubled expression. She slowly pieces her words together, as if scolding a stubborn grandchild.
He is a traitor who abandoned his mission and killed 4 of his fellow apostles. There is no reason at all for me to extend his vitality.
Her reaction is as I'd expected. From the perspective of Idea, Saint Germain turned his back on them. There's no way she would listen to a direct request like this.
Besides, don't you think you should be worrying about your own life? Just like Saint Germain, you are destined to die. That's the only way humanity can be led down the correct path.
The correct path. I look up at Omnibus and glare at her, after hearing her one-sided argument. I feel my voice taking a harsher tone, but I have no intent of softening it. Only people in the future will know what the correct path is. What you're talking about isn't what's correct for the sake of the world. It's just what you yourself think is correct.
I only wish that were the case.
Omnibus sighs in response to my threatening tone.
I doubt you would understand. Long ago, I ate a forbidden fruit that was not allowed to humans. Was she Eve? Doing so gave me a piece of God's knowledge. Ever since then, I have been able to see all paths that humanity can take. I can't help but see them.
She quietly continues her story. There is no doubt in her eyes, and her voice is matter-of-fact, speaking only the truth.
I know better than anyone else that humans are capable of so easily taking the wrong path. Because I can see it all. I can't just stand by and do nothing.
So, you're saying that's why you created Idea?
Yes, an organization that will lead us forward until the day that God saves all of us who are burdened with original sin. That is Idea.
She smiles slightly, seeing that I'm at a loss for words.
Cardia, you were created as a part of a very big plan. We have put an end to Isaac's plan before it could come to fruition. But your very existence is already within the realms of the taboo.
Because I will cause destruction. Is that why you want me to die, along with Saint Germain?
It's up to you whether you resist or not.
Her response to my desperate question is far from what I would have expected. I look up in surprise, but Omnibus is just staring at me silently.
But remember this, Cardia. In the past, Saint Germain once placed personal attachment above his mission and disobeyed my orders. Because of this indiscretion, a third of Europe's population perished. Just imagine, 1 in every 3 people dead. For example, Lupin, Van Helsing, Victor, and Impy. What would you say if you knew that one of them was certain to die?
Her words wrap around me like some sort of spell. Although she said that I have the choice of resisting, this is no different from a threat.
Saint Germain is about to repeat his foolish mistake. You are just as culpable if you are still trying to live after knowing all of this, aren't you?
My knees grow weak as Omnibus fixes her eyes on me. I lurch forward and fall to my knees, hitting the ground with my hands. The earth in my hands reminds me of a sensation I felt before. The horrible sensation of the poison in these hands burning away at his life. But under that terrible feeling, I also felt a warmth coming from his skin. And
if you aren't alive, then neither am I. If your life isn't worth anything, then neither is mine. So, please don't say such sad things.
The feeling of his face as he said that. I steady my trembling legs, then stand up and glare at the old woman. Still, I'm going to reject your predictions. Nothing is certain in this world. I won't believe your prophecy of destruction. I see. That's quite brave of you. Brave, but foolish. I don't care if I'm foolish, but I'll have you help Saint Germain, no matter what it takes.
Scary. There is no use threatening me. What you see before you is merely an illusion of myself.
You're wrong. There is one way. I put my hand to my chest and take a step closer to Omnibus. The reason you want me dead is because there's a chance I might create something God's forbidden, the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes, that's right. The Philosopher's Stone is a forbidden object that treads on the laws of God. I must eradicate any and all possibilities that may lead to its creation, to protect the people of the world.
I see. Then I suppose I'm a hazard to you, something you fear.
What are you thinking?
I take a small case out of my pocket. It contains the pendant from Finis. The pendant sparkles under the light.
That's...
For the first time, Omnibus looks surprised. Seeing her so obviously shaken, I speak to her with conviction. With a touch of this pendant, my horologium will be transformed into the Philosopher's Stone. And if the stone is created, I will become a monster who spreads death. Once I become that, no one can stop me, not even your organization with all your unlimited powers. That's why you're so desperate to kill me. Am I wrong? If you want to avoid that, I take a good look at Omnibus, then quietly but forcefully speak. I want you to accept my conditions. Let Saint Germain live. I know full well what I'm suggesting right now is a horrible thing. This is a threat under the guise of a negotiation. But instead of bending to the threat... What's so funny?
That isn't really a threat.
She returns my gaze levelly, still smiling.
You understand why, don't you? If you become a true monster, you will kill everything around you and be hated by everyone. You'll only be able to live in absolute isolation. That is something you truly fear. No matter how strong you make yourself sound, you'll never be able to act upon it.
My hand holding the pendant starts shaking at Omnibus's words. I thought I had made up my mind to be willing to give my life going into this. And yet I'm beginning to tremble.
You won't be able to become a monster. Do you want to repeat the tragedy of Elaine and Etty?
At the mention of those names, my skin breaks out in goosebumps. I don't even have room in my mind to wonder how Omnibus even knows those names. My memories of the past, when I was accused of being a monster, burn in my heart. But The words escape from my mouth, and I hold the pendant closer to the horologium. Just bringing it slightly nearer causes the crystal in my chest to grow hotter, and the pendant begins to shine.
Are you serious?
I don't care if people hate me for being a monster. I don't care if I truly do become a monster. I don't care if the entire world is against me. The heat of the horologium is almost unbearable. The pain is extreme, like being skinned alive, like every bone in my body is breaking, like my entire body is being rearranged. I struggle to stay on my feet and look at Omnibus, speaking through gritted teeth. If you won't help Saint Germain, I'll become a monster and lead the world to destruction. But if you save Saint Germain, I'll shatter this horologium in my chest myself. Then you'll get what you want. Isn't that right, Omnibus?
You'll shatter the horologium, and that will mean your death.
But Saint Germain will survive.
Why would you go so far?
She looks at me, shocked, and I turn to her with a gentle smile. Because Saint Germain said that my hands were warm.
Just for something small like that, you're going to give your life.
It's not something small, at least not to me. I look down at my fists and slowly narrow my eyes. When I first woke up, I was all by myself. All I had were my father's words and this poison-filled body. I didn't think I would ever get the chance to touch someone else. And even though Lupin promised me that he would help me do that, I didn't really believe him. But he... I touched my cheek with my own hand. Saint Germain touched my hand without hesitation. Just as Saint Germain did. He was the only person in the world who accepted me, despite me being the monster that I am. That's why, even if I end up becoming a monster in seclusion, I can withstand the isolation just by thinking of the memory of that one warm touch. Don't underestimate me, Omnibus. I glare at her as I stand my ground against the excruciating pain. This is my limit. I can hear something in my body beginning to change. Just as I'm thinking this.
Fine.
She sighs deeply.
I accept your offer, Cardia. First, take that pendant away. Do it quickly or it really will be too late.
I listen to her and snap the pendant away from myself. Suddenly, I feel weak. I breathe heavily, refusing to fall and lean against the table.
I really can't forgive Saint Germain that easily. But I see you are truly serious, so I have one condition.
What is it?
Defeat Guinevere, then I will extend Saint Germain's life.
We need to beat Guinevere.
That's right. If my predictions are correct, there is no way that you and Saint Germain will be able to best her. You claim that my prophecy of disaster won't turn out true. Then prove it to me. Prove to me that my predictions are fallible. Saint Germain betrayed Idea and killed 4 apostles. I can't allow that to go without a condition. That condition will be that you destroy the horologium on your own. That is non-negotiable. This is as far as I can go to compromise. What do you say, Cardia?
She shuts her mouth firmly and looks at me intently. And to get the good ending, we have to accept her terms, so we'll save so we can get the bad ending later. And actually, we're gonna go ahead and end this video here and hope that there is enough material after this to do another video. I guess we'll see about arranging things once the story's over. But hope you enjoyed things and hope to see you in my next video. I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.